Big fluff.
All right, let's party.
Okay, take it easy. You're okay now.
Am not human, but am a life form. Have soul that he me kill to try.
Wait a minute, J5. What do you think you're gonna do?
Pursue, capture, incarcerate.
Come on now, man. These are serious guys. You're not in top form, and your backup battery's used up.
I'm okay. Hey, just a few bitty Bugs Bunny to work out in. Perfectly functionality.
Yeah, sure. Listen to yourself. You can't even talk straight.
Derp, a life form's gotta do what a life form's gotta do. Stand aside.
Hey everybody, I'm Joel Murphy.
And I'm Andy McIntyre.
And this is Silver Linings Playback, the podcast where we watch maligned movies and we find their silver linings.
And we have a very special episode as we are bringing back a return guest and ending a ban on another guest. So we have to ask Jonathan and Marty, what's going on? Thanks for coming to the show. Why Short Circuit 2?
What a great series of questions. So glad you asked. It's delightful to be here. Before I get into the next question, I yield my time to Jonathan.
Man, wasn't expecting that. Hey, thanks for lifting inevitably the Pete Rose ban. I appreciate it. Thought it would never happen. I've just been out there gambling my heart out, hoping one day that I'll win enough money to be able to buy myself back in, but I'm here. Why Short Circuit 2? The real quick answer to this is it was on Marty's list, and I said, this is a part of my childhood. I'm game. And outside of that, a movie that I do think after rewatching it now, in my late 30s, a quintessential 80s film.
Yeah.
And I think that after we dissect this film, I think we'll all agree that it is the 80s short-circuited. And there it is.
Yeah, I think like this movie was healing in that, yeah, we as we're alluding to, we don't really get into all the details, but we had a long-standing beef with Jonathan. He was barred from the show. But I think this movie shows the dangers of giving yourself over to anger and to really like why we all need to look to humanity, even if we are a robot ourselves, because we're a human robot, that, you know, you don't want to go down that dark path. You know, you don't want to just seek vengeance, that you need to be able to find joy as well.
Yeah. Also, this show has a long and storied and, triumphant history of going through sequels. And gosh, I don't know. It's just a long list, and Letterboxd not that good at letting us search. So as soon as I found a movie that I could not find in your past episodes, I latched onto it. I will say I really wanted us to come together and watch a beautiful French film that came out the year before Home Alone. It's got a few different names. In France, its translation was Dial Code Santa Claus. And it's about an evil Santa that finds the child of a toy magnate via France's computer system of the day, the Minitel network, and gets hired on as a Santa, gets fired as a Santa, and decides to take revenge on the toy magnate by going to the house where the son is home. He's not alone, actually. He's there with his diabetic grandpa, who's useless. It's both funny and horrifying. And Macaulay Culkin's Kevin has nothing on the kinds of traps that this kid builds. But this movie is impossible to find. So, hit us back at a holiday time. I'll hit the high seas for everybody, and we can reconvene.
All right. Well, you mentioned, by the way, too, that this is a sequel, and I do want to maybe gauge everyone. Maybe a place to start is, how do we feel about this? Well, how do we feel about Short Circuit, and how do we feel about this as a sequel to Short Circuit?
It definitely has Johnny Five in both.
Yeah,
it's true.
And I think as we're going to end up discussing, they picked another character to bring back from the original, and probably one that we're all, in 2026 sitting here going like, maybe you should have paid Gutenberg. It might have been worth it.
Should we start with Fisher Stevens and Brownface?
Well, I mean, does anyone else want to weigh in on how they feel about Short Circuit 1 and this as a sequel? But then, yes, I'd say yes.
I can maybe keep that brief. Rewatched Short Circuit for this as well. Parts of it I liked more than I remembered. Of course, parts of it I haven't seen since I was a kid, and just like, wow, these characters are grating, and none of them should be able to succeed at life a lot of the time. But it was a delight, and I did want to know more about what's going to happen in the lives of these kooky kids. And so that makes Short Circuit 2 not the movie that I would have ever expected.
Well, I thought that if you were going to do a sequel to Short Circuit and you want to follow up on the characters from the first one, I think what I thought is that it was going to be an intervention for Stephanie's pet hoarding. That clearly
would have been a solid choice. Yeah.
Yeah. She's that's not okay. I watched that horrified because I did watch it before I watched this, where I was just like, this is too many animals, and they're kind of playing it for a joke. And I think it's justification as to why she accepts Johnny
We don't
Five.
see her feed an animal. We don't see her clean up an animal. We don't see her water an animal. We
don't know the movie from the perspective of her boyfriend. He might be trying to rescue that dog at the beginning.
Wow. Problematic, Joel.
Yeah. We don't know. I mean, he's a terrible character. He seems quite awful. But yeah, and then I guess, then Fisher Stevens, it's bad. It is, inexcusable, brown face. There's a lot online about it. I know Aziz Ansari has talked a lot about it, and in fact, talked to Fisher Stevens about it, who did apologize and say that if it was done now, it wouldn't happen that way. I did read, maybe you guys all saw this, that originally apparently Fisher Stevens was cast just as himself, but then they were trying to get a Bronson Pinchot, Perfect Strangers kind of thing, and so they rewrote the character to play into that and kept him on board, and decided to go with what we ended up with, which is not good. It's just bad 80s racism.
Yeah. I do. Before we move from 1 to 2, I feel compelled to repeat these lines from the first movie. Steve Gutenberg asks Fisher Stevens, "Where are you from anyway?" Problematic question for the 80s. And he answers Bakersfield. And Steve is not satisfied with this and says, "No, I mean your ancestors." And Fisher Stevens replies, "Pittsburgh."
That's a good joke.
That is a fun joke, and that is we maybe created an ambiguously racial character in this movie. You can almost write it off, but then in 2 they just demolish that entire exchange.
Well, right, yeah, it negates that because in this movie he doesn't have citizenship, and that's a big central thing to this. Yeah,
one of the many. Yep, I do think that this film is a product of the 80s, and it is another studio attempting to to cash in and trying to do it quickly. And it shows the whole way through the script. I think of Gremlins and then what Gremlins 2 was. And I feel like that is the...
Jonathan, you're burning bridges right now. That's
everyone's
that
face right
comparison.
now. Yeah, everyone's face right now is waiting for you to finish this sentence, because if you're not going to say, and Gremlins 2 is the gold standard for how to do a sequel better than the original, then I don't know how you're going to land this plane.
Correct. So here's how I'll land it with a Johnny Five scrambling of the plane and just squarely shooting it right into my backside, because I've done messed this up. What I'm just saying is like they really reached into their bag of tricks and pulled out just everything that they could think of and put it in. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that it is I in no way as quality as such as Gremlins 2, but just that it did a lot. It did a lot. Yeah.
I think I remember why Jonathan was banned.
It was his anti-Gremlins 2 propaganda.
What do you have against Joe Dante? He put his heart and soul into Gremlins 2.
So much. Yeah, I forgot how hot some of my takes can be.
I thought you were going to say I forgot how hot the female gremlin is in Gremlins 2.
I forgot.
I
thought you were going to say I forgot how hot Phoebe Cates can be.
Oh, yeah.
Who could forget? How dare?
Yeah.
One of my favorite details, because when are we ever going to do Gremlins 2, is that they take the serious, horrifying story from Gremlins 1 and turn it into a joke in Gremlins 2.
And why she can't celebrate President's Day.
President's Day. And it's great. Gremlins 2, unimpeachably great from start to finish. And perfect. And I believe they shot in New York. And that helps.
What a segue.
But yeah, I don't know. Fisher Stevens bad. I think we can say that that's the most glaring reason to malign this movie. And I think hopefully move on from that. It's bad and shouldn't have happened. And it's just infinitely worse in this movie because in the first movie, there's less of him. I think that's the reason why. And then now he's the sort of main character. I guess Johnny Five is the main character in this, but he's the main human character. And it's bad. And his scenes are bad, too. I want to also say that because it's not just that the character is problematic, which it is. So a couple things. The original is 90 minutes, which we always say is a silver lining on the show. It's a tight 90 minutes. This is almost 2 hours.
2 hours.
And I think if I had a pair of scissors in this film, I would start with cutting his date scene with the executive, which is a painful, what felt like 10 minutes of the movie of just like him reading billboards as he's Cyranoed by Johnny Five. And it's not good. It's also insane because then he admits to his love interest what's happening. But for her to then understand that would mean that she would also know that means they stopped her bus and orchestrated this fake meet cute, which is terrifying.
True. Good bit of fridge horror. I had not put together that she must have figured that out as well.
Yeah.
Which,
meanwhile,
she makes a lot of choices that she should not trust this man.
No. Well, she doesn't know him at all. And he aligns himself. I guess we haven't set up the plot properly.
And what are we talking about?
Yeah. So in this movie, basically it's set in New York. What is his character name? Do we know? I don't have it in front of me.
It's Ben Javeri in this movie, although it was Ben Jabatuya in the original.
Okay, so Ben.
It is also clearly spelled Jarvie. JHRVI in some papers that appear in the movie.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ben, he has moved to New York. He's making, because they've shut down, is it Nova, the evil government robotics agency from the first movie. He's unemployed. He's making tiny Johnny Fives, which seems like they should have signed some kind of like proprietary deal to not let him do that. It seems weird that he's allowed to make toys of these robots, but whatever. They're bankrupt, so I guess they can't sue him. But he's selling them on the street next to Michael McKean, who's selling fake Rolexes. The aforementioned love interest works for a big department store. She sees the robots. She wants like 1,000 of them if they can make them in arbitrary deadline. And McKean is like, yes, we can do that, even though they can't. They rent a warehouse. The warehouse is an abandoned site that 3 criminals are casing to rob a bank of jewels. And
one of them owns the jewels.
Owns the jewels. No, that
has access to them.
Yeah, he works for the bank.
He works for the bank. He's the inside man. So, but yeah, so they're trying to steal it, and then also Ben is trying to get his citizenship, and also in what I would have sworn was a much larger plot line based on my memory of this movie as a child, the Los Lobos gang co-ops Johnny Five into stealing a bunch of car stereos. I swear, like my 2 strongest memories are the end of this movie and that scene, and I would have sworn that the Los Lobos were like a integral subplot, and then watching it I was like, oh, it's just one scene. But
it's a throwaway gag to be racist to Latino people.
But Los Lobos kick your ass, Los Lobos kick your face, Los Lobos kick your balls into outer space. Yeah, like I think as a child,
I was amazed you didn't pick that as the clip.
But it was seared into my brain for sure. Like I could have recited that before hitting play on this. But yeah, it's weird that that's just a scene.
I also have bad news, Joel. I also went into this remembering that it was the Los Lobos gang, which makes sense. It's the wolves. Thank you, Andy. Yes, they are called Los Locos, which just adds another layer of like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh. Are they? I thought it was Los Lobos, but
it's Los Locos. Yeah, I thought it was Los Lobos until I watched it, and it is indeed
because it's such a clearly better name.
Yeah, and it's really funny that I watched it and it didn't I still heard what I wanted to hear. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed to learn that, but yeah, that's been wrong my entire life.
Yep.
That's the real Mandela effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I think if we were on the Los Lobos timeline, I think things would be better right now.
Things would be better.
And I think
I'd take a shot.
Yeah, I think once the Berenstain Bears and the Los Lobos, once we lost all of them, it all went bad.
See, here's the thing, though. I've always known it was Berenstain. That was not a Mandela effect for me.
But you were on board the Los Lobos timeline.
I was on the Los Lobos timeline. Yeah, so I'm maybe from yet a third alternate timeline where it was Los Lobos and Berenstain Bears.
Well, I think it's clear that this is the worst timeline. So I think a lot of better timelines would have had to converge.
Careful what you wish for, friend.
Into this is the worst one. And it couldn't possibly get any worse than it is right now.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so but that's the plot, and then she does make a series of bad decisions, Marty, to get back to your point. One is trusting them because they're clearly selling these on the street and have no authority.
Yeah, well, one of them is selling them on the street. Michael McKean's character is just there. He's lobbing or hawking fake Rolexes next to Ben.
He's just in the movie.
And just like gloms himself on to this guy who's going places.
Yeah. Well, because he was in the middle of scamming him as well at the time. So all of that happens. This movie's too long. There's too many plot lines. I kind of think, you know, again, Ben shouldn't be in the movie, but Ben also shouldn't be simultaneously like getting his citizenship and trying to date someone. I think that's too many things for Ben, who doesn't
and trying to like come back from his company being co-opted by the military and consequently bankrupted and finding a new career.
Yeah. Also, like, insane of, what is it, Newton Crosby and Stephanie to ship Johnny Five to New York to help. What an insane choice for a robot that is presumed destroyed. And like, the movie never really explains why there still wouldn't be, like, they wanted to blow up Johnny Five in the first one. Why that is no longer a threat in this one.
No, there are lots of questions. And not only when Johnny Five gets there and there's the brief, just sad attempt by Ben to like not let Johnny know that this is a city. So Johnny just got in a box without being told where he was being shipped to. Seems unlikely. And
could move the box independently of anything, but waited until he was delivered to make that move.
As Roger Rabbit said, he waited until it was funny.
That's fair.
But it does also seem contradictory for a robot whose entire character motivation is, I am not just a robot. I am actually a person. I'm alive. I deserve rights. Weird that he would agree to be shipped on a box. Like to a destination that he doesn't know.
And as a robot with ADHD, like that he would sit in the box so patiently until that one moment.
He did. I think he does mention that he didn't want to be in the box.
Yeah. He does call them out for trying to force him to work without pay too at one point. Which is good.
Can we talk about the fact that maybe the most interesting plot line that this movie hints at is granting a robot sentience and citizenship is just glossed over in the last 8 seconds of the movie.
Well, he goes on like a full-on Frankenstein journey, and they hint strongly at it when he ransacks a bookstore, and one of his take-homes is Frankenstein.
The other is Pinocchio.
And the other is Pinocchio. Yeah. So he's going on his journey to become a real boy, sort of. And like gets more and more dejected as people reject him, thinking, who's piloting this robot? This isn't this, don't joke around. Gets thrown out of a church for seeking answers from a priest, which I'm slightly annoyed that both movies had like Johnny Five just kind of buy into the Catholic version of God, like that God exists, and that like, sure, I guess the Catholics got it
right one.
I was slightly annoyed by that. He questions so many things, but not this.
Well, he mentions a few other. I think he mentions the Quran and the Upanishads in the first one. So he's read some other stuff. But he does go to a Catholic church.
Yeah, to seek answers, and he dresses up, and then he gets impounded, and of course, murdered. Is it too soon to talk about the attempted murder of Johnny Five?
Okay, I think it is because I think this belongs in the maligning to talk about childhood anxiety and the fact that I watched both Short Circuits a lot, as it seems like you guys did as well. And I want to say rewatching these now as an adult, I was like, oh yeah, that's probably contributed to my anxiety as a child, because before we even get to this one, let's talk about, because I sort of mentioned it, but the end of the first one, just so in case everyone doesn't remember, is they are cornered by the guy from Police Academy and the entire US military, who are like, get this robot that's malfunctioning out of this van right now. They have guns pointed at Newt and Stephanie, and they are willing to shoot them to destroy Johnny Five. He pops out of the back of the van, is given chase. Stephanie is watching, tears in her eyes, and says like, Johnny, get away, go. And we're watching him, and we, the audience, we're with her, like, get away. But he doesn't get away. He's blown up. and then
Yeah,
she
by a
sobs.
helicopter.
He's blown up
Missiles
by
from
a
helicopter.
like an Apache helicopter sends a missile to blow up Johnny Five. She sobs more. Newt puts his arm around her, is like, well, let's get out of here. They drive the van off. It's like 5 minutes of screen time before the movie lets us in on the fact that this was not Johnny, that he built a decoy, and that's what was blown up, and that is how he lived. But it lives in the reality, and if you are a child who is the target audience for this movie, it wants you to believe that he died. And I bought it. Absolutely. Like as a kid. Cut to this movie. So then in this movie, the three Keystone bank robbers, like these three bumbling idiot bank robbers who up until this point have been utterly ineffective. And you mentioned Home Alone. There's some like Home Alone-esque booby traps that stop them. They seemingly, they're not going to be a real threat. Like they're cartoon villains until they have a crowbar and they beat him with that crowbar till he loses an eye, until he's leaking. He loses an arm, an eye, an arm, and he's leaking battery fluid and he's almost dead. And then that's when McKean, Durf, Fred, like finds him and is like repairing him, which is a clip in the beginning. But it's like they are in this movie. It's just like, Johnny, your battery is failing. You are leaking battery fluid. You are dying. Like you are going to die. And he's like, well, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die getting revenge on these motherfuckers. Yep. And you get this final scene where he's bleeding out and Ben is pleading with him to stop. And like, you know, he collapses and they get paddles out because he's dead.
Yep.
And they're like, clear. And they're hitting him with the paddles and he's not moving. And it's, again, as a child, literally one of the most stressful things. I remember it. There's so much of this movie I did not remember, but I like just absolutely remembered every beat of that ending because it was seared into my brain of holding out for a hero playing and him chasing the bad guy and then like him die. He's bleeding and dying and they do not hold back at all.
Yeah, rest in peace, Johnny Five.
Yeah, he dies twice. He dies in both movies. Of all the things that aren't carried over from the first one to the second one, absolutely, we must stress children out with Johnny's death was a key. That was on a whiteboard somewhere.
We got to deliver the psych out.
What do kids love about this movie? Casual 80s racism and the stress of Johnny Five dying. As long as we got those two things, it's money, baby.
And, you know, we're all the worse off for it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It is. There's a lot of 80s capitalism in this movie, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And the valuable Johnny is gold plated in a not too subtle nod to our sweet overlord that is capitalism.
I was appalled that I had forgotten that moment when he shows up for his citizenship plated with gold. I was like, that hits different
he has
today.
Value.
Yeah.
Also seems like it's going to put him in
more.
He's going to have so much more danger for Short Circuit 3 because now the Los Locos and McKean and all of the other New York scammers will definitely be trying to get his gold.
But by the logic of Short Circuit to Short Circuit 2, though, I feel like Bumbling Crook number 2 is going to be the carryover character to Short Circuit 3.
Yeah, well, wait, are we talking about the one who loves technology or the one who's just a brute?
Yes.
Great.
The
Also,
technology one.
If they were going to make a Short Circuit 3, which obviously it's been all these years and they haven't, my personal pitch, and maybe, I don't know if there's more to Maligned, but maybe this is getting us closer to the pivot, is I think a sort of buddy comedy with him and McKean that's a little like Midnight Cowboy, you know, where it's like McKean has to teach Johnny like how to survive in New York because now he's more human, but he really needs to like learn survival skills because he's very naive.
Yeah, I think that would play. If we're still maligning, I would like to hit. Yeah, I remembered this movie as taking place in New York, and rewatching it as an adult, that's a lot of just low budget places to shoot in Toronto. It's Toronto, and it, like you can even see when buses pass. Sometimes it's like, okay, Toronto was not selling me on New York City this watch around, and that was disappointing.
It is weird that Johnny Five doesn't want to see any of the landmarks for some reason. He doesn't want to see the Statue of Liberty. He doesn't want to see the Empire State Building.
And when the one guy hands him a tourism guide, it's for St. Louis, Missouri.
Oscar, yeah.
It very, very noticeably has the Gateway Arch on the cover. And
that's true, yeah.
It is a tourism magazine for St. Louis.
Wow. I guess I had given it the benefit of the doubt and thought it must be for US. Like they just chose the picture of St. Louis. So it's St. Louis tourism. Perfect.
There's where to get the best toasted ravioli, and then the Gateway Arches, and that's it.
Wow.
The Anheuser-Busch Brewing Company. You know, all the sites.
Yeah. Any other maligns in here? I think this one's on the edge for me, but like the labor market as portrayed by Michael McKean being able to like get this warehouse that's about to be demolished. Sure, I'm fine. But like he brings in a bunch of unhoused folks to build robots, and that seems like it's going pretty good until they get rumbled by the bank robbers. And then like all those folks just run off without getting paid. That feels bad.
That
they
feels
just
very
prefer the streets.
That's Reagan's America. Exploiting the
true.
homeless for financial gain is, I believe, the first tenet of Reaganomics.
Yeah,
It's a
and
true
God help
American
Because it trickles
story.
down. It all trickles down.
God help those unhoused people if they had started to unionize, and then Reagan himself would have come in and busted them up and gotten them out of there.
We can't have these robot factory workers unionizing. They're holding America hostage with their union thug demands.
Children deserve these loose toys.
For the Gipper.
For the Gipper. This movie is, I still has some fun nostalgia, but I'm ready to pivot.
Jonathan?
Real quick, sorry. We just skip over the whole in the freezer section of the film, and is solved by them utilizing a phone line and a calculator. And the calculator Ben had just already had pre-programmed into it his a song, and that to me just felt like great writing. And now
I was gonna say we're not forgetting it. We just haven't pivoted to the silver lining.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Okay, well
Yeah.
there it is. I blew it again. There's a reason I'm not supposed to be here, guys. All right.
No, you know
Pivot.
what? I think it fits. It is both absolute horseshit, and it's one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It is, yeah, okay. Well, I think it's time.
I liked him using touchtone songs to guide Tony to the
Sandy
freezer.
Benetoni.
Or Sandy Benetoni, that's right.
It was good. Yeah, it was well done. It was cute. Yeah.
She met the
like,
most helpful taxi driver in all of
knew
Toronto's
his
New York
music.
City.
Yeah. Yeah, which also, like, again, weirdly, I think like if you cut their entire date scene, I think this is a better reason for why they should be together than whatever that scene was. Like, no, she's very charming in the scene. She gets to save the day. I like that she saves the day, and McKean and Ben are Fred and Ben are they're just going to freeze to death. They have no plan B. They don't know if she got the message. They have no way of knowing. They're just going to freeze to death.
Shot.
And no one at Chinese restaurants ever goes in the fridge.
Not on the weekend? Are you kidding?
It was unclear if they were in on it or not. Like, because they didn't seem to care when she showed up. But like, yeah, presumably they had to know they were there.
Well, they never shot inside of an actual restaurant. All we see is the freezer and then like a tiny micro hallway outside the freezer. So
that's true.
There is no establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the songs and the cabbie. And I'm just going to say Cynthia Gibb in general as Sandy Danatoni, I think was a silver lining for me. I thought she was enjoyable.
Yeah, she like, I don't know why her boss doesn't fire her, because she does not seem to give him anything that he wants. She should have a different job is what I'm saying, is like, she belongs somewhere else and not in this department store. But she's very charming. I did like her. All of that was good. If we're speaking about songs, I talked about the stressful side of it, but a huge silver lining for me is the entire holding out for a hero final sequence. Like, I kind of still think it's perfect. Every other flaw in this movie, just as an isolated look, we've done almost 300 movies. I think every movie should be building to their own version of our robot protagonist is bleeding out. They have a ticking clock to stop the jewel thief while holding out for a hero is playing. And somehow that jewel thief gets on a speedboat, and then they have to Tarzan their way onto that boat to stop him while the last seconds of their life tick away. That's what we all should be always writing. Basically, that's the masterclass on screenwriting right there.
Yeah, forget Save the Cat.
Yes.
Hold
Stop
out for
the
a hero.
jewel thief. Yeah, hold out for a hero, and he's the hero. It's a better ending than one. I'll say that. I think it has a better ending
because
than
here's
Short
the thing:
Circuit 1.
you got to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be fast.
Mm-hmm. Got to be fresh from the fight.
Fresh from the fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say here's a little teaser for Dial Code Santa Claus, because I know you're now all looking forward to it. The reason that I was reminded after deciding to drop that movie from my suggestion list of this one was because Bonnie Tyler sings an original song on the soundtrack for Dial Code Santa Claus. And it's incredible. It was written by French folks, and she just sang it, and it shows. It's amazing.
Absolutely heartbreaking to realize that when Short Circuit called, she was like, "I'll just use the one from Footloose. It's fine."
Yeah, not as much original music in this movie. But that moment, immaculate. Also, to just hop right before that moment, Fred knowing his way around a soldering iron, like Michael McKean showing up. This guy, I've got a lot of silver lining notes for his character, but Radio Shack. Oh, I miss you. We got to see Radio Shack in its glory days. And with like a little mashup of like the weird used car salesman TV commercial character who I guess owns that one Radio Shack, but he goes so hard on television advertising.
Yeah. No, McKean, I truly think is one of the most underrated character actors out there because he can do anything. And this character is dumb.
He can
on
be
paper.
Squiggy.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, he can also be Chuck in Better Call Saul. Like he can be the leading man in Clue. Like he can be an idiot rock star. Like whatever is asked of him, he's always that exact thing. And he's such a scumbag in the first half of this movie. And you have that, Marty, you pointed it out, and it's totally fair. Of like, why is this guy around? Why is Ben listening to him? And then in the end, it's like, he's the heart of the movie somehow. He's he's ripping his silk shirt to stop Johnny's bleeding, and he's pleading with Johnny not to go. Like he's Shaning
throw his
with
life
Johnny
away for revenge.
Yeah. He's the only
it's
one that has
Shane.
an arc.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Well, actually, no. You know what? I disagree with you because Johnny does have an arc, and Johnny's arc is that I am not human. I am something else, and like he eventually decides to align himself with the humans, but that moment is him
For
rejecting humanity and seeming pretty close to a robot uprising in that opening clip that we played. Cause he's pretty, cause I will say, like, in my memory, I thought like when McKean was like, well, they kidnapped me and Ben and they put us in a freezer. I thought he was going to be like, they put Ben in a freezer, my friend. Right. And he's like, that is not what happens. What happens is he goes like, oh, so that's what they did to you. Cause you're people. They beat me to death.
Yeah, it's a moment that I think it hit different watching it now, where I'm like, oh no, he's gonna make a bad choice and he's choosing vengeance. But as a kid, I was like, yeah, go get him, vengeance. They tried to kill you.
It's a wild thing that this movie gets you to align with the robot uprising against humanity. Essentially, like you're on his side. It's great robot propaganda.
Yeah, hear me out. Short Circuit 3, Terminator 7.
I can see it.
That's how selling that happens.
I would love a mashup of this and Terminator where, like in the first one, he reprograms the Terminators so they're just doing Three Stooges shtick, and like he gets like you just see Arnold Schwarzenegger programmed by Johnny Five. And
Johnny Five also dresses essentially like Bill Paxton from Terminator.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
when he goes punk at the end, not all of which just looks tough and not actually is tough. Like it's not a bullet belt; it's batteries.
Yeah.
And like random circuit boards that have been assembled that I think we're supposed to assume do something, but they don't give him any new powers.
No, and the battery doesn't do anything. And we know that he got rid of his laser because he had a laser in the first one and he's rejected it.
But he does have the remote control that controls all the little Johnny Fives that never comes up again.
Well, it does. That's how he stops the bus so that she has to go on the date.
Yeah. They use that. That's how he, as Jonathan reminded us, that's how he calls over the nearby, which also like is supposed to be downtown Manhattan. People, even in the 80s, you weren't allowed to fly radio controlled airplanes downtown in Manhattan. But he commandeers some model planes to fly them into the butt of one of the attackers.
Also, isn't it? Well, no, I guess he shoots a thing on. I was trying to think if he uses it on the crane, but I guess he just attaches himself to the crane.
He uses it to make the crane swing around to lower out.
Okay, so he does use it in the end. I don't know why he doesn't use it to stop the boat, but he was dying.
He couldn't. He tried.
He tries, and you get to hear that little beep beep sound go. Can't lock on.
I should have known with the writing of this that they thought of that. Of course, it's unassailable, the script.
Right. I mean, one thing that I will say about the frustrating and upsetting romance plot is that if they did not have that scene where, as a date, they just go listen to jukebox music all night. What a wholesome ass date. That was how Ben and Sandy bonded over music. And without that he would never have been able to dial touchstone tunes into her answering machine to get to lead her to them.
That's fair.
How can we cut it? I think we can cut the tough man tender chicken stuff. That was yikes.
Not good.
It was a nice
what else?
nostalgia trip, this movie.
Yeah.
It was a nice little trip down memory lane for Los Locos / Lobos. For, all brown face from the 80s. Like, oh, remember that? How that was a thing?
We just casually accepted that from our production companies.
Yep. And Michael McKean.
Michael McKean.
Michael McKean, who's been working steady since at least the 70s, right? Was he working in the 60s? Yeah, I mean, but like
I think 70s is when his career sort of kicked off.
Yeah, 50 years of McKean, and it's great. Like, just constantly, and the man works. He'll show up in Smallville. Like,
He still works.
That man loves to work. I mean, again, Better Call Saul just happened. That was recent,
right?
Like,
We saw him last year on Broadway in Glengarry Glen Ross, and he was incredible. It was just like, oh yeah, that's just Michael McKean. Like,
was he
it.
Shelley?
The kind of the goofball one who's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
So he's that Harris character from the movie.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Was that with Odenkirk?
Yeah.
That was both of them. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, that was a good show, and he really delivered the humanity, because a lot of these you just hate all these other characters, and like here's this one guy. I just want to do my job. Why is this so hard?
Yeah. Which also is funny too, because he can do that, and you can really love him. You love him in Short Circuit too. But then it's like, I refer to Chuck as Chuck in Better Call Saul because I hate that motherfucker. Like, I hate that character so much. Like, in a way that I didn't think I was capable of hating Michael McKean.
Michael McKean he would be well cast in literally any part in Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He can do them all. I mean, like, Clue is the one where you're like, no, he can be a leading man. He rarely did it, but like, he can just be a handsome leading man if he wants to be.
Squiggy.
I mean, you keep bringing that up, but unfortunately, you're 30 years older than the rest of us. So you
listen, you guys didn't watch reruns of Laverne and Shirley? I don't know.
Not really. I can't say that it was a big frame of reference for me, unfortunately.
Missing out, man. Penny Marshall, Cindy Williams.
Nick and I had really fallen a long way by the time I was tuning in. It was all Green Acres all the time.
They do love to play Green Acres. I don't know if it's just cheap to run.
It's just one guy has the DVD. He's like, no one will care.
Farming in a suit. Hilarious.
Zsa Zsa Gabor.
All right, but I think we did it.
We did it. Yeah.
I think so. Jonathan, do you have any shining moments that we haven't covered?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think that this is, if I had to put a movie as in a time capsule to capture the 80s, this I think covers all of the bases. There's a love story, there's a robot, there's action, a great soundtrack, a
Keystone Heist.
A Keystone Heist. I know this isn't the space, but the fact that this movie starts off with military music and an airplane scene in which that's how the movie opens, and then it cuts back to it for the jewels to be dropped into the bank, and then that's it. Again, another solid, just written to be there moment, and it is a pure 80s film. And I'm going to have a hot take, and I do think we've all have seen Short Circuit 3, and I think it's just toys.
I thought you were going to say Wall-E. I thought you were going to say Short Circuit 3 is just
No. Nope. Pixar and Disney do not get to own this property, but I do think toys. I think toys is our trilogy.
I also I thank you for all of those, and I think you nailed it. The cross section of 80s-ness in this. I will just say too, like, as well, since we're still open to silver linings, 80s robots, the best robots, like definitely, robot
solid.
design peaked in the 1980s.
60s robots were great.
They were good, but
80s robots
I think
were better.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, it's like it was 60s to 80s. It goes up, and then the line stops at 80s, and then it's downhill. Yeah,
There
hasn't been a good robot since.
There hasn't
at best been an homage to 80s robots.
Wall-E.
True.
80s robot from the Muppets.
Wall-E is all references. I mean, Wall-E they're like, what if we made Johnny Five but in a computer, and he was small.
Yeah, which I think is finally time to say. I think we're all getting there, and I think Jonathan helped open the door for me to finally say this. That movie's not great. It's overrated. I'm gonna say that Wally was always overrated.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, boys,
we have to ask. What do you have to plug? What's going on? What do you want to point people to?
Jonathan, don't shake your head. You got so much stuff going on.
Jonathan, every time I see you on Instagram, you're directing a play.
I am directing a play.
He is directing a play.
I am directing a play. April 11th and 12th, 2026. I'm directing a children's play called the Truth,
the Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Yeah, children's play.
The truth of the not so bad wolves, and I'm very excited to get that started. It's going to be for the Pasadena Theater Company, and that's Pasadena, Maryland. So if you're interested in checking that out, ptcshows.com for more information.
All right.
Great.
You can catch me Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch at twitch.tv/nowsayers, where my friends and I often play tabletop role-playing games together, but for the last little hell crisis of a year or two, we've been playing Stardew Valley, and it's really chill and delightful. You can also catch me with, I've recently joined an indie improv team here in New York City named Bizzo. You can find us on February 27th, 2026 at the Pit, where we will be in our first round of Cage Match. I say optimistically. This year for Cage Match, the winner gets a dedicated time slot at the Pit.
Whoa.
So,
Nice.
Yeah, it could be fun. So if you're around, come out, cheer for Bizzo, and bring multiple phones to do the voting, because I hear that people cheat and do that. So why not do it for my side?
Sure.
Also, keep your eyes open. WeHaveToAsk.com. I've heard there might be some free airspace on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network soon. So, Jonathan, warm up the old alternate reality machine.
Oh boy, howdy! I got it. That baby's been on ice, but I'm ready to thaw it out.
Yabba dabba do.
Silver Linings Playback is a production of HoboTrashcan.com. If you enjoyed the show, please rate or review it on Apple Podcasts. Hear more great shows on the Peak Sloth Podcast Network.